Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Inside the courtroom, a controversial sex crimes case involving a youth athletic coach. Thanks for joining us here at noon, everybody. That coach, a former employee at Farmington High School, will have to answer to a judge today.
Jeremy Tompkins is accused of sexually assaulting student athletes in his Detroit home. Priya Mann is here to explain what's expected to be revealed in today's preliminary hearing.
We expect to learn more today in a troubling case involving a former basketball high school coach accused of sexually assaulting student athletes at his home in Detroit.
What's your name, sir?
Jeremy Tompkins.
Farmington High School basketball coach Jeremy Tompkins will be back before a judge today. The 43-year-old is accused of sexually assaulting two student athletes at his home in Detroit. Tompkins has been charged with second and fourth degree criminal sexual conduct.
No school-related events. No contact, or you're not to go to the Farmington High School. No contact with minor children.
The former basketball coach denies the allegations and was given a personal bond of $250,000. The alleged victims are 15 and 16 years old. Farmington Public Schools says Tompkins was fired immediately after the allegations surfaced. Following an internal investigation, 3 other basketball coaches were also fired for having knowledge of the alleged assaults and not reporting it. In a statement, Wayne County prosecutor Kim Worthy says, "We want to be able to trust the people that we allow to coach, teach, and spend time with our children. Sometimes they are predators that betray and abuse that trust in unimaginable ways. The evidence in this case will show that this defendant's alleged conduct violated his position of authority and harmed those he was supposed to guide and protect." And that preliminary hearing is scheduled for today at 36th District Court. Local 4 will be there and bring you the very latest tonight. I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
All right, Priya, thank you. Right now, University of Michigan's head coach, Jim Harbaugh, is holding his usual Monday morning news conference after the game.
Yeah, today, though, people much more interested in what he has to say about being suspended rather than the X's and O's after a big win against Penn State. He has already said that he's not going to talk about this, but let's listen in for a few moments.
Did a great job blocking out the noise, both outside the stadium and inside. Means so much, the incredible things that our team has accomplished, giving it their very best, competing, enjoying, and triumphant. And the things that they all said, personally, Coach Moore, the players said, and my daughter Grace, what she wrote, just so special. I'm going to remember that until the day they throw dirt over top of me. And the program, sitting at 999 wins, chance for 1,000 this Saturday. It's in our wildest dreams. That's what we hoped for. That's what we worked for, was that we'd have a chance to play in our 11th game this season, a chance to get that 1,000. And just really want to shout out the Green Bay Packers, most wins in NFL history, 793, the most wins in high school football. Valdosta, Georgia, 900.
Jim Harbaugh, head coach of Michigan, not addressing the controversy, but giving some shout outs. And usually when somebody shouts out the Green Bay Packers, it's a good time for our Lions crew to get out. But we will have much more on this coming up later today when it comes to the U of M and, of course, that big hearing coming up on Friday. Michigan trying to get a stay on that suspension against Jim Harbaugh.
And those that have support.
In other news this noon, if you saw a large plume of smoke on Detroit's east side today, here's why: a fire destroyed a home on the I-94 service drive near Holcomb. This is not far from Gratiot. That fire was so large that the Detroit Fire Department had to send several crews to try and put it out. Fortunately, it was a vacant property, and crews do not think that anyone was inside. But as you can see, the fire was very intense, and the home is a complete loss.
Charges likely to be filed this week against the man suspected of stabbing 2 other men in separate incidents Sunday. The first about 11:30 in the morning on Dexter Avenue, and then just about an hour later, police got a call of a second stabbing, this one in the area of Grand River and Clarendon. After hours of searching, police say they got a tip that led them to the suspect who was hiding at a home in that area. At last check, the 2 victims were both hospitalized with serious injuries. Police think these attacks were centered around money.
A lot of uncertainty today in the murder case of Samantha Wall. The president of the Isaac Agee Synagogue in Detroit was found stabbed to death last month outside of her Lafayette Park home in Detroit. Last week, Detroit police announced a suspect was taken into custody after being arrested in Kalamazoo. However, this weekend, we learned the suspect was let go. Michigan law requires someone to be charged in order to hold them more than 72 hours.
We're working to learn more about a deadly crash on Detroit's east side this morning. The video here that we gathered from the scene tells the story of just how bad this crash was. It was at 7 Mile near Van Dyke around 4 this morning. You can see the vehicle somehow gets wedged between that dumpster or and that building there. We're told the man who was driving was killed. It's no secret big construction projects can make for a stressful commute. But when that road work is done, how great is it to drive on that new stretch of brand new road?
It's pretty awesome, and that was the case for travelers along I-275 today. Sky 4 showing the traffic shift that's been taking place since this morning. And Kim DeGiulio joins us now for a first-hand look at what's happening along I-275 today.
Well, a major update to the Revive I-275 construction project. This has been a 4-year project, $280 million, and we're making progress here. Here to tell us about what you need to know for your commute today if you plan on traveling a little bit later today. Diane Cross from Michigan Department of Transportation, thanks for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for helping us get the word out, because we've got drivers who are affected, folks who are wondering, why can't I get onto the freeway, because we've already closed Ann Arbor Road and Ford Road, Michigan Avenue, and as we make our way south, we're stopping that traffic from getting onto northbound 275 because we have to close the freeway in order to move barriers so that we can ultimately put drivers onto the newly rebuilt side of northbound 275, hopefully by later this afternoon.
You're thinking maybe 3 o'clock, hopefully before the evening commute?
We're shooting for hopefully maybe even a little bit sooner if at all possible. But again, we got to stop all that traffic from getting on, and then state police will help us block all the traffic so that our crews can move some of these barriers like what you see behind me where we've allowed traffic to cross over in the past. We want to stop that. We have to block that and then move all the barricades so we can direct traffic onto the newly rebuilt northbound lanes.
And these ramp closures, certainly important for people to know, especially if you have a flight to catch.
It does, because our Eureka Road closure, that will affect drivers. Even if while Eureka's open, you may be sitting in a backup because it'll be down to 1 lane before we block all lanes of traffic. So you might want to take a different way to the airport this afternoon, maybe use 94, get off at Middlebelt Merriman area, or one of the local roads to get into Eureka, as opposed to counting on 275 being open, because I can't tell you right now that that's going to be open for sure.
But the exciting news here is that the northbound lanes of I-275 between Eureka and I-96 and M14, that's complete. That's got to be exciting for drivers here and also for you guys.
It has been a busy last few years, about 4 years of working on this $280 million job that has impacted, again, tens of thousands, up to 120,000 drivers at certain times a day who use 275. Now that 96 M14 interchange, we do need 1 more week before we can reopen all those ramps between that interchange, but pretty much everything else will be done when we reopen, and then by the end of the year we'll have you back to 3 lanes in each direction, because when we reopen today it's still only 2 lanes in each side.
All right, well, thank you so much for the update, Diane. And just remember, if you travel northbound I-275, expect those ramp closures until a little bit later this afternoon. Reporting along I-275, Kim DeGiulio, Local 4.
It's so nice to see all the significant progress. When you get to first drive on that brand new pavement, you know, like you're almost home free.
I know, right? The other thing you might have noticed there is the sunshine out there.
I know. Good weather conditions, Ashley, for getting that construction work done. Absolutely. Some milder temperatures and blue skies will take it. The only thing is keep your eyes out for maybe a tipped over orange barrel, because winds will be picking up throughout the afternoon. Already sustained out of the northwest in Detroit at 14 miles per hour. We sit at 59 degrees. Howell 57, Pontiac 55, Monroe 57.
7. Calmer winds to our south compared to the rest of us across Metro Detroit. So today's high will be right around 58 degrees at 2 o'clock this afternoon, holding on to the sunshine all day. But the peak wind gust this afternoon will be around 30 miles per hour. When the winds die down and when you can expect rain, we have the answers coming up.